Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'll be showing you guys some Great League battles with this triple fire team I've created with Alolan Marowak, Typhlosion, and Victini as the 3 main Pokemon in this team. If you guys do enjoy, please consider dropping a like, subscribing, and turning notifications on. We are on the road to 100 subscribers and it will really help the channel a lot if you did show your support. And with that being said, let's get on with today's video. For the first round, my opponent's first Pokemon was an Abomasnow. Abomasnow is a grass and ice type Pokemon, and fire types will be doing double super effective damage against that Abomasnow, so my opponent does make a swap out into Seismitoad. Seismitoad is a water and ground type Pokemon, so he basically counters all of my Pokemon. Shadow Bone will be doing lots of neutral damage against him, since ghost types will be doing neutral damage against both water types and ground types. I am going to make a swap out into Victini, although Victini is going to be taking more damage with those mud slaps, since Victini is just less tanky than the Alolan Marowak. I do decide to swap out into a Victini just to get a few psychics off, but sadly my Victini does go down with that earth power. I am going to swap back out into my Alolan Marowak and let this charge move go through. It is only a Muddy Water. He does have double moves with Muddy Water and Earth Power. So my Shadow Bone does charge up here, and we probably may see a shield go through. We do see a shield there. We do see my opponent throwing a shield, and we are as well going to throw in a shield since I do have my Shadow Bone charged up as well. It is halfway, and Shadow Bone is my only hope to kill this Seismitoad. Blast Burn from my Typhlosion may be enough, but since I already had Marowak with Shadow Bone, I do decide to throw it in. So my opponent's Seismitoad does faint, and my opponent's second Pokemon is an Abomasnow. Abomasnow is once again an ice and grass type Pokemon, so he will be taking double super effective damage with my Incinerate for my Typhlosion, and we are getting really good energy, and that is really good for us because my opponent did surrender, and yeah, good game to my opponent. For the second round, my opponent's first Pokemon is a Minun. Minun is a only electric type Pokemon, and Marowak would have been doing some heavy damage against him but my opponent does make a swap out into Kadabra. Kadabra does have Confusion as his fast move, and that is taking out some pretty good damage, but I do expect my opponent to shield that Shadow Bone due to shadow types doing super effective damage against psychic types. My opponent did throw in a shield, so I am going to mirror that shield that he just threw and shield as well. It is only a Dazzling Gleam. Although it would have fainted us, it would have done barely any damage if I had at least half health. My opponent does make a swap back out into Minun. Minun is once again that electric type Pokemon, so Shadow Bone will be doing lots of neutral damage against him, and we may perhaps get a defense debuff as well. So he cannot go for the farm down without me getting to my Shadow Bone, so my opponent does decide to make the right choice and throw in his charge move. I think I am going to make a swap out into Typhlosion to preserve my Victini's health more, since Victini is more flexible than my Typhlosion, since Typhlosion does only have fire type moves, while my Minun does have both psychic type moves and fire type moves. So my opponent does make a swap out into a Alolan Marowak, and this Blast Burn will just be taking out so much not very effective damage against him. And I do decide to swap out into my Victini, and I am going to throw in the shield since this may be a Shadow Bone or Shadow Ball, since he was farming for a pretty long time. If it is a Bone Club or Flame Wheel, it still is okay since I did want to preserve that health once again. So his final Pokemon is that mine, and this V-Crate is just going to insta one-shot him, and it does allow me to win that second round. Good game to my opponent. For the third round, my opponent's first Pokemon is an Azumarill. Azumarill basically counters all of my Pokemon once again with his Bubble. Since Bubble is a water type fast move, water types will be doing super effective damage against all of my Pokemon. So I do throw in the Shadow Bone right here. Shadow Bone will be doing neutral damage against him due to Ghost types doing neutral damage against both water types and fairy types. My opponent did choose not to shield there, and we did not see a shield go through or the defense debuff on him. So we are not going to shield here since his two main charge moves are basically Play Rough and Ice Beam. I do know that Ice Beam and Play Rough will be doing not very effective damage against us. So we are going to throw in my Shield Bone, my Shadow Bone once again, and he is pretty low, and that is really good for us since he probably does not know that I do have Victini and Typhlosion, and he may throw in a Hydro Pump as well, so I am not going to shield here. My Marowak is already low as well, so nothing will happen. I am going to make a swap out into Victini to do as much damage as possible, since my Typhlosion will be doing not very effective damage with that Incinerate, and he will be taking some pretty heavy hits with only Bubble. My opponent does make a swap out into Alolan Marowak. Alolan Marowak is a Ghost and Fire type Pokemon, so I am going to charge up to a V-Crate to double V-Crates. I do have one V-Crate charged up, and I am not going to throw in the shield since he did get his charge move very fast, and it is only a Bone Club, so I did know it was only a Bone Club. I am going to swap out into my Typhlosion with those double V-Crates charged up. I am going to have to throw in a shield here since Bone Club will be doing more damage to my Typhlosion than my Victini, because Typhlosion is just way more glacier than Victini. So my Blast Brain does charge up, and we may expect a shield to go through right here since he does have good energy, and he does know that I do have that Victini in the back, and Ghost types will be doing super effective damage against Psychic types once again. So I do decide not to shield since Bone Club will be doing super effective damage, but I do know that we will be surviving that. So I do have another Blast Beam charged up, and I may perhaps get to another Blast Beam before my Typhlosion does faint. If we do not, that still is okay since I do have that V-Crate charged up once again. So my opponent does decide to throw in his charge move right here instead of hard farming, but I think he did know that my Blast Brain was very close to getting that. So it is okay if I do have 1 HP left. I am going to use my final shield, but once again, since I do have those double V-Crates is just such a strong fire type move. Fire types will be doing, it doesn't matter if it is doing not very effective damage or neutral damage, it will most likely get you to half health. And since my opponent's final Pokemon is a Whimsicott did sadly faint us. It was close to one-shotting him, but we could not get to that second V-Crate in time for him to throw in that fairy type fast move, and it did faint my Victini, allowing me to lose that round. Good game to my opponent. For the fourth round, my opponent's first Pokemon is an Abomasnow. So once again, this is a really good start since I do not have to worry about any of his attacks, since all of them will be doing not very effective damage. We are going to be resisting them because of our fire types, so we can just go for the hard farm down onto him. We do have 2 Shadow Bones charged up, and my opponent does make a swap out into Umbreon. I do decide to throw in the Shadow Bone. As you guys know, Ghost types will be doing not very effective damage against Dark types, but I did decide to use it as a shield bait since he may fall for it and think that I did have a Fire Blast. He does not fall for it, so I do decide to swap out into my Typhlosion. Typhlosion is a fire type Pokemon, and Umbreon will be doing super effective damage since Dark types are super effective against Psychic types and Shadow types and Ghost types. So my opponent does make a swap out into Wigglytuff. That is okay since these Blast Brains do just charge up really fast, so we are pushing his shields really good. If my opponent does decide to throw in a shield, that is really good for us. He does not throw in a shield here, but he does only have one shield left. I may preserve my Typhlosion's health by throwing in shields instead of letting him faint from a Dark Pulse or Foul Play. So it is a Foul Play, and we are just going to use all of our shields because Blast Brain is such a strong Pokemon. and his charge moves charge up very fast with Incinerate plus Blast Burn. If you guys do not have that community boom for Blast Burn, you could use the Elite TM. It may be worth it for you guys if you guys would like it in your team. But Incinerate plus Blast Burn is really good, and my opponent does decide not to shield there, and it does allow us to win that that fourth round. Good game to our opponent. For the fifth and final round, my opponent's first Pokemon is an Alolan Marowak. So when it comes to this scenario, you're both using the same Pokemon, but you have a charge move that will be doing super effective damage. You mainly just want to get to your charge move first, and you will most likely win that one-on-one. So my opponent did lose that, so my opponent did make a swap out into that G-Fisk. I do know that I will be surviving that Rock Slide, so I did decide not to shield, and I do make a swap out into my Typhlosion. Rock Slide plus Mud Shot on that G-Fisk will be charging up faster than Blast Bane on my Typhlosion, so we do decide to shield there. I do have my Blast Bane charged up. Blast Bane will be one-shotting him even if he had green health. My opponent does decide to shield, but I do know that I cannot go for the hard farm down. But now I will be going for the hard farm down because he is low, and I did get that pre-fire while he did use that shield. So I do have 0 shields left, and I do lag right there, but my opponent does not get to that Rock Slide. I do have a Blast Bane and I have charged up. If my opponent does decide not to shield here, then that is still okay. It will be doing not very effective damage, but if he did shield, that is really good for us since I do have Shadow Bone charged up for my Alolan Marowak. So I do decide to do a quick swap into my Alolan Marowak and throw in the Shadow Bone and catch him by surprise. We do also get a defense debuff on his Alolan Marowak. And I will let my Alolan Marowak go right here since I do have 0 shields to protect him. I am going to make a swap out into my Typhlosion just in case, since he can have a Shadow Ball or Shadow Bone charged up. And my opponent does make a swap out into, I don't even know what that was, but that Incinerate did do a lot of damage, so it is only a Beedrill. Beedrill is a bug and poison type Pokemon, so he did absolutely get one shot with that Blast Bane. My Blast Bane does come up once again for his Alolan Marowak, and it does allow us to win that 5th round. Good game to our opponent. Alright guys, so that will be the end of today's video. If you guys did enjoy, please consider dropping a like, subscribing, and turning notifications on. It will really help the channel a lot. We did get a 4 win, but that 5 win was really close since I did lag and I could not get to that second charge move. As you guys remember from that Whimsicott, it would have one-shotted him for my Victini, but I could not get to that second V-Crate, and it did allow us to lose. But with that being said, I'll see you guys on the next video.